Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here the Watchmen, and here we are. It's Sunday, June 23rd, and we're on with none other than Mr. Mark Sutherland coming to us all the way from London, England. We're going to talk about some great stuff today, but I do want to remind everybody last chance. If you want the Spiritual Warfare DVD set and you want to get that within a month, you need to go on to hearthewatchmenmen.com and order it today. All the final artwork came in. It's going into full production tomorrow, and we won't do another run of the DVD sets until probably September, October. So you want to go ahead and get your order in, get it in now so you can have it in just a couple of weeks. With that said, again, Hear the Watchmen, men.com. Also, take a look at our conference coming up in October, Irvine, California. It's going to be just crazy good. You want to be there. Go there, check it out. Use the promotional code Mike20 and you'll save $20 off your ticket. So listen, Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Absolute pleasure, my brother. Fantastic to see you, sir. And I love the tie. It's fantastic.
Well, we're trying to step it up for Jesus a little bit here. We're just trying to make some improvements all the way around, and it's hard when you're old and rugged like this, and you live in the mountains. It's hard to improve. But if you saw the jeans and the boots that I'm wearing, you'd be really happy. But hey,
brilliant.
This week, what a crazy week, Mark. I mean, again. Over 1,000 earthquakes in California. Just one yesterday in Northern California, 5.2 right off the coast up by Eureka, which is almost up in Oregon. Crazy stuff there. On the brink of war, no doubt, with Iran. President Trump taking heat right and left right now for either not doing enough or doing too much. He's taken heat from the Dems, our favorite woman, Ocasio, just going after him, saying he needs to be impeached. And then on your side of the pond, you've got a scandal going with the guy that was going to be prime minister. And it's insane how all this is happening. And what is really going on? Are we under some sort of a demonic attack like we've never seen before, or what? What do you think?
You're absolutely right. There's incredible things going on. We've also got that situation, I believe, in Oregon, where they're discussing the whole climate change issues and wanting to put through certain policies there. And Republican representatives are turning around and going, no, we're going to filibuster this. We're not going to be in the chamber to discuss this. And then the head, I believe, of that administration within Oregon, trying to get my facts right here, is then turning around and maybe threatening to get state troopers to go out and arrest them and all this kind of thing. And people are legally allowed to filibuster, and the particular individual that they were after is turning around and going, with all my military experience, no way, you're not going to threaten me. And I have heartfelt views and all the rest. You're absolutely right. There's so much going on. There's also the farmers, the within the Missouri area, the fact that corn planting, I think in a video that dear Lynn Liaz has just done was talking about this, that a third of the corn has not been able to be planted because underwater, the amount of cattle, whether it's 1 million cattle that lost, etc. These are unbelievable numbers of all that is going on. And then, as you quite rightly say, the shaking, the shaking, earthquakes, etc. We need to be, as that wonderful phrase, we need to be looking up. We need to be making sure that our own houses are in order, our own rooms are in order. We're not date setting, we're not doing anything like that here. But we are talking about being right with God when there's these things going on. It does make you think. I mean, when you've got a situation where 1 million cattle are going, where your farmers are not able to sow a third of the corn, then we're talking in regard to, are we going to look at the food, the whole food aspect, the whole food security then becomes questionable and all this kind of thing. And that is going on. I mean, there's issues with that in China as well. We're having to get rid of pigs and all the rest because of diseases. Yeah, I mean, it's shaking everything. But the other good thing is, Mike, you and I stand on this. We stand on scripture. The truth will always be revealed because at the same time that's going on, and then politically, the truth is coming out. The truth about, we're still going on about the Mueller report and all these things coming out. The fact that all the different departments were weaponized under Obama and have gone after President Trump, etc. Then, as you said, we've got our occasional vortex going off on one. The Polish government have invited her out to actually tour a Jewish concentration camp. I've had one of the experiences I would never ever forget for the rest of my life in 1986 was actually going round Auschwitz and being shown around Auschwitz by the daughter of someone who was actually an inmate in that. It was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life, so much so that the group of friends that I was with, 5 others, we didn't talk to each other for about 3 hours afterwards. Wow. We had to just find different places to go to try and take in the killing machine that had been set up for 5 or 6 million Jewish people and gypsies and all the rest. So to actually say there are concentration camps in the United States of America. So she needs to get on a plane and leave the country. Really, that would do you all a favor.
Yeah,
she needs to get on a plane.
Maybe she could stay there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Get on a plane, go to Poland and actually learn. But we all know that she is an actress. She's actually auditioned for that part. And then if you take away her scripts and all the rest, she is nowhere. And I'm not being rude, but she actually couldn't sit down here now and do this kind of interview or whatever, or talk, or be given a question that she's not prepared for, as we've seen, because she can't actually cope with it. So, yeah, there are loads of things going on. And you have just alluded to something on this side of the pond. As you know, Mrs. May stepped down. She's only Prime Minister in name only. A bit like the deal that she brought in regard to leaving the EU. We would only leave in name only. So she's Prime Minister in name only. She stands up. She's still representing the office. And then when we choose the new leader of the Conservative Party, so I need to go go through a few things in that regard. When we choose a new leader, she will then take that person to the Queen to say, this is the new leader of the Conservative Party. So we've had some debates. We had a debate last Sunday on Channel 4. As I alluded to in a previous interview, I was actually a crew member on that, which was rather interesting. So it enabled me to pray. And this ties in with you advertising what happened on Long Island before people get so fed up with the fact that you're pushing something. You're not. You're trying to equip people with tools. So we find ourselves in some interesting things in life. So we need to take the authority that Jesus has given us in that situation. I'm not being clever. I'm saying wherever we find ourselves, we have that authority as Bible-believing Christians, saved by Jesus. We have his authority to be in those situations. Pray, take his authority. So I was in the studio. I prayed. I didn't stay there for the debate. Interesting setups that went on there of a particular imam from Bristol and some of the going through his previous tweets, looking that it's fairly anti-Semitic and all this kind of thing, and others. I mean, you couldn't make it up. And it was bias, where remember, as we've discussed before, London has always been seen as remain a country. Well, 40% of people that actually in London actually voted to leave. So we had that debate. The big beast was missing. Boris Johnson decided not to turn up for the Channel 4 debate. I don't blame him whatsoever. He knew what was coming. He then went to the BBC. He was in the BBC debate on the Tuesday, and with Javid Gove and Rory Stewart, Uncle Tom Cobley and all, and Mr. Hunt and all the rest. So they were in there, and Boris turned up. put on the spot by the particular BBC presenter who always makes me laugh, because in an interview that she did, I think with Steve Bannon last year, I thought she was going to physically, ties in with Long Island again, I thought she was going to physically manifest on live on TV. I think it was either last year or the year before, I think. I thought she was going to physically manifest, which slightly amused me, because she was dealing with someone that has a completely different ideology to her, and she will not move on that, wanting some one big lefty group funk, which is what the BBC is. So there was a lot of criticism after that debate, saying it one big Remainer setup. So let's move on. What has happened during the week? There has been voting by the MPs, by the Conservative MPs, in regard to choosing their leader. So that is what gone on. And so it's gone from the number of participants, the number has just gone off my radar, just thinking. So say from 6 people, we're now gone, 7 people, we're now gone down to 2. So it's now between Boris Johnson and Jeremy Hunt. So on Friday morning, it was reported in the early hours of Friday morning, and then definitely in our papers on Saturday, that there'd been a little fracas potentially between Boris Johnson and his girlfriend in a flat worth something like £700,000 in southeast London. This particular couple next door had recorded the argument that Boris Johnson and his girlfriend had actually had at that time, something like, "Get off my computer," or "You poured red wine all over our brand new sofa, you have no respect for money, blah, blah, blah," etc., etc. And this couple recorded this and then sent it to The Guardian. Now, out of this couple, the woman had actually been given money for an EU Remain festival and all this kind of thing. So their politics are going to be Remain. So they sent it to The Guardian, I understand, and then the police were called, and the police didn't. Then The Guardian phoned the police up and said, "Did you know about this incident?" And they said, "Oh, no, bloody blah." And then The Guardian said, "Well, this is the reference number," etc. And they're all trying to make merry hay out of that. And before you and I get accused of totally and utterly getting our facts wrong, the issue is that afterwards we discover that Boris Johnson's car has got posters on it going, "Well, we may just about put up with you or have you as a neighbour, but we don't want you as Prime Minister," and all this kind of thing. And then when you discover that the neighbour next door is one big, Remainer. She's American, a theatre director, I believe, and she is a daughter of a millionaire and was brought up in, maybe I think in New York, most probably on prime real estate. So she is what you and I would call a champagne socialist. So that is what was going on. So we then have what's called the hustings. So Boris Johnson on Saturday, hustings, e.g. up and down the country, there's a number of meetings where he and Jeremy Hunt talk to the Conservative Party membership, which is made up of people. They are the people that would be voting whether Boris Johnson or Jeremy Hunt are going to be the new leader of the Conservative Party. This is not a group decision by the British people. This is a decision by the people that are members of the Conservative Party. Like a friend of mine will be. He will be voting. He'll be voting for Boris Johnson. Good old Jim. Well done. So, am I saying that Boris Johnson is perfect? No. Am I saying that he was one of the top names in regard to the Leave campaign? Yes. In 2016. Am I saying that he has given at times signals that means that he's a bit flaky? He voted third time in regard to Mrs. May's deal and all the rest. Yes, I am. Now, leave means leave. He knows that if we don't leave on October the 31st, his party is done. Jeremy Hunt is a Remainer. He voted to Remain, even though he has said afterwards, to be fair to him, he may have regretted that decision and all the rest. I describe him as Theresa May in trousers. Now, one of the beauties of Boris Johnson is that you don't know what he's going to say. He is no fool. I believe. He's no fool. Have you heard that? Have we heard this one before? Have we heard this one before that suddenly we record a row? I mean, frankly, Mike, if rows were recorded in my house and sent to the Guardian, who knows? Let's just talk about the humanity of this. So, who knows? It's a bit like let's record a tape inside a locker room before someone's going for the president of the United States. I am not, making light of this. But what I am going to say ties in with Long Island is that this affirms the spiritual battle that we are in. And you and I get criticized for this. I get criticized when it's like saying, why are you going on about politics all the time? Well, the spiritual battle is manifesting like this. And your swamp has been revealed. Our swamp has been revealed. Now, someone said this, which is, I think, a very, very good analysis. Boris Johnson, if he wins by a landslide, then it means that he has a massive, massive mandate within the party and, God willing, within the party to then go through with a no-deal Brexit, and we're trade under WTO Article 24. The BBC has even begun to talk about this. Wow. Some of us have been bashing on about this for a good couple of years, if not from day one when we voted to leave. He will get a bigger mandate. If he doesn't get such a big mandate, but still wins, then the Remainer section within his party are going to really, really fight to the death. They're going to fight anyway. The Remainer Parliament, all the MPs that are still wanting to remain, the big fight is on. And as someone said, if he doesn't get such a bigger mandate, then already they would want to plot to get rid of him and then slide in one of their own. And the thing is, as Christians, and we're speaking, we have the privilege to talk, and I have the privilege to be talking to you, and for this to be shown all over the world, from Canada, Australia, New Zealand, etc. And we are talking to dear, dear friends of ours as well, where we need their prayer. The UK, we desperately need your prayers at the moment, because many, many people are not awake to what's going on, to the manipulation and all the rest. And we are in the biggest spiritual battle of our lifetime on this side of the pond and on your side of the pond. You and I are not saying that, President Trump is deity. We're not saying he doesn't get things wrong. We are not saying that Boris Johnson is deity. We're not saying that everything's going to be fine when these people are in. No, you've been given a door wedge with President Trump. Are we going to be given an opportunity to get out of the EU and run our country as a sovereign nation? So, Mike, that is what is going on.
It's wild, and it is crazy. If you think about it, Mark, I mean, look at the implications. Okay, Britain sent Marines over to Iran, into the Gulf over there, to stand by. America has its ships over there. Iran is talking about becoming a nuclear power. All of this stuff, the earthquakes, the weather. I mean, we've had snow here in the United States, in the Rocky Mountains, in the mountains by my house. We had snow, latest snow that we've had in 100 years. Now, all of this and everything going on in the political world, folks, in my opinion right now, is all orchestrated by Satan. It's all orchestrated. It's a demonic attack amongst the Christian world to silence our voices, which is why it's so important for Mark and I to keep doing shows like this, to make sure that you get the information that you need to get. Mark, I just want to say thank you so much for being with us today. Tell us quickly, we have like about a minute and a half left. Tell us quickly where you're going to be this week.
Well, on Tuesday, thank you, Mike. On Tuesday, I fly out to Holland. I will be attending the International Prayer Breakfast for Israel, and Congressman Michelle Bachmann will be in the room with others. So I'm going to be arriving a bit late, but I will be there, and I'll be there till Thursday. So I look forward to telling you and everyone else about that. So I was invited, like a number of other people. So I'm really looking forward to going and being in the room there.
Well, we're going to be praying for you, and we're going to look forward to hearing from you next week. Folks, we're going to be broadcasting next week from I Am TV in Tennessee, right out of the Knoxville area, in the Smoky Mountains, an incredible new network Christian network. You want to check them out if you can. I Am TV, brand new, just getting started, but boy, they have a beautiful studio, and we're looking forward to being there with everyone. So, Mark, I want to thank you again for joining us today on the show. God bless you for all the work you're doing, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, my brother. I look forward to seeing you, and have a lovely trip yourself. God bless.
Well, that's going to wrap it up today for us here on this edition of the Watchman's Report, folks. Don't forget what we always say here. There's absolutely nothing you can't do with Jesus in your heart, except nothing at all. Get out there, activate your faith, do something for the kingdom. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you again on the next edition of the Watchman's Report.